What is going on, beautiful people? This is your host, Serge Vicente of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. And as we know, we're doing live right now. We're on Hot Mic, so this is Hot Mic episode 2. And we have fight news for you guys today, man. I have to keep the fire coming, man, because at the end of the day, because of Dana White, obviously nothing is sleeping at this point in time, and it seems like look, man, UFC 249 seems like it is going to still come April 18th. I'm not sure, but that's what Uncle Dana wants, man. So really quick, man, on today's menu, what I'm going to talk about is a couple different things. Obviously, we still have to talk about Jon Jones. Jon Jones has been, for the best way I can put it, man, he's still fucking up. And it's really interesting to see not only how the fans are talking about it, but also fellow fighters. So I'm going to discuss that. We're talking about Bellator. Bellator has canceled and postponed a lot of events. Between Bellator and the UFC, who is actually winning? If any of us are winning, let's be honest, I mean, nobody's actually winning. But in terms of who's doing it the right way, is it going to be the UFC or is it Bellator? I'll discuss. And obviously, we have to talk about the biggest news of the day, which I'm going to go ahead and start off with. Khabib is out. The champion, 28-0 UFC lightweight champion right now, arguably the greatest lightweight champion of all time. He is officially out of his fight, UFC 249 against Tony Ferguson, man. So let me give you a little bit of details on that one. Yesterday, it had to be, because it came out at 4:30 a.m. LA time, man. So dude went out there. He was in Russia already, and I know, as I've spoke about before, Khabib Nurmagomedov, the lightweight champion, like I said, 28-0. He's supposed to be fighting Tony Ferguson for the lightweight championship. A lot of us said it. I've said it on this show plenty of times, and I'm gonna continue saying it, man. This is for the greatest lightweight of all time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. These two are the absolute best out there. Tony Ferguson with a record of 25-3. Khabib, like I said, is 28-0. Each of these guys are on a 12-fight win streak in the UFC. They haven't lost. Dude, Tony Ferguson hasn't lost since he lost to Michael Johnson, and that was 7 years ago. Think about how long ago that is to keep a winning streak that long in the Shark Tank of the UFC's 155-pound division. It's just crazy. It's nuts that this is consistently happening. It is nuts that that this fight has also been scheduled 5 times. This fight has been scheduled 5 times, and nobody can see this coming. Each time has been something different. One time Khabib didn't make weight. One time Tony Ferguson's injured. One time Tiramisu got Khabib. The other time, freak injury by Tony Ferguson. Now we have coronavirus. This fight, I don't care what anybody says, 1,000%. This fight is cursed. I don't know why the MMA gods don't want us to watch this fight. But once again, for the 5th time, this fight has been canceled. Khabib is now in Russia. He recently, like I said, he spoke on his IG page, and he pretty much said, look, man, at the end of the day, the restrictions that he has in Russia right now, the borders are closed. He can't fly out of there. And the only reason that he actually went over to Russia in the first place, Dagestan actually in Russia, the only reason he went there in the first place is strictly because the UFC told him that the fight was not going to take place in the US. It was supposed to take place April 18th in Brooklyn. It was supposed to be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And think about this, man, what it really boils down to it, right? Should this fight happen anywhere, right? Dana White is really pushing it, and this is something I'll talk about in a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, it wasn't supposed to happen there. So Khabib, as opposed to stay training in San Jose, California, where he trains over at AKA, he ended up taking off, man. He went back to Russia because they said it was going to be on the other side of the Atlantic. So whether it be Dubai, Mauritius, any of those other places, they believed that the fight was going to happen there. Unfortunately, Putin said, nah, no dice. Nobody can come out of here. We're stuck. We don't want the spread of it, so I want to protect my people. None of that is happening. So obviously, Khabib can't fly. Now, Tony Ferguson, all the other guys involved in the card, and there's plenty other fighters that have actually thrown their name into the hat, and one of which which Dana White has said that this fight is actually going to fruition. People are really making this shit happen, is Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is the number 3 ranked fighter in the weight class. He is 21-2 record. He's on a current 3-fight winning streak. Everyone was all hype on Cowboy's fight against Conor McGregor and how Conor McGregor blitzed his ass in less than a round. Well, guess what? The fight before that, who did Cowboy fight before Cowboy fought Conor McGregor? He fought Justin Gaethje. And guess what happened? He got dealt with in like a minute and a half. So, it was 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes and like 15 seconds, to be honest. But still, at the end of the day, he still got dealt with in less than a round. So we were all hype on that. Justin Gaethje is the man who deserved to be in that pretty much number 1 contender spot. And now the fact that it's not going to end up being Conor McGregor, they said that they want to have Tony, they want the division to move on, and they want to make sure that Tony still fights somebody. And it seems like that somebody might end up being Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, former WSOF champ. Dude is an absolute beast, right? Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I'm going to keep it a buck. This shit's not going to happen April 18th. I generally don't care what Dana White has to say right now. Do I believe this is going to happen? Really? Really? Are we going to get a fight? Are we really going to get UFC 248? Because what he says, and look, I'm going to quote dude. He says, we're going to bring the baddest card in the history of the sport. That's what he just told Breck Okamoto of ESPN. So he goes out there and said, we're going to bring the baddest card out there. And what they're talking about is this. They're talking about, and again, this is dream matchups, but they're saying that Francis Ngannou, 14-3, the number one ranked heavyweight in the world, is going to go ahead and face the number 3, Jardina Rosenstruck, 10-0. This fight was actually supposed to happen this past weekend. It didn't happen, obviously, because it was supposed to be in Columbus, not just floating here in the States. Nothing more than 10 people could pretty much go out there anyways. So that is who they say is going to be the co-main event. We're also talking about, and Dana White has said this, Jorge Masvidal, the baddest motherfucker champion out there. Kamaru Usman, the champion at 170 pounds. They say that this fight is actually going to happen now as well. Look, man, Ariel Helwani of also ESPN, he says this is unlikely. He says sources say this is unlikely, but this is what Dana White is saying. Daniel Cormier, one of my favorites, somebody that I'll talk about in a moment as well. He says his sources say that both fighters have agreed on the fight and this fight also will happen. But yo, how is this shit going to happen? Let's be honest. How? I don't understand how we really just think that all of a sudden that a global pandemic is a joke. That we're still going to have a fight. We're still going to have this. Man, it's really not going to happen. And this is why I'm going to move on to my next topic. And the reason I want to do this is because it ties into it. Look at this. Bellator, the other huge organization we have, obviously UFC's the NFL. Then you have Bellator, One Championship, PFL, Risen, so on and so forth. You get the smaller shows, region shows, LFA, and all those other ones. Bellator has recently, actually as of last night, they have postponed all of their cards through May, specifically because of the coronavirus pandemic. Bellator 242 was supposed to be May 9th in San Jose. That was supposed to be their biggest card, not of all time, but one of their biggest cards, especially the biggest card of this year. On that card was supposed to be the light heavyweight championship. Ryan Bader was supposed to defend his belt. Not only was that fight supposed to be on tap, there was also supposed to be, in my opinion, the best welterweight in the world, Douglas Lima. Douglas Lima was supposed to fight Gegard Mousasi for the vacant middleweight championship. Though that was supposed to happen in May. Also, Bellator London, May 16th was supposed to happen, and Bellator 243 on May 29th. All these fight cards were supposed to happen throughout May. Bellator said, we're not having that because of Corona. We're pushing it off. And the reason that they're saying it, Scott Coker, who I've said many times, is by far the best promoter in the game. Yes, Dana White has been the best in terms of everything, but in terms of treating their athletes the right way, in terms of actually having an organization that can stand and actually bringing new quality talent, it's absolutely Scott Coker of Bellator. Think about what he's done, man. Look back at what Scott Coker has done in the past. He was the president of Strikeforce. Think about all the fighters that Strikeforce actually had. Tyron Woodley, Daniel Cormier, Luke Rockhold. Come on, man. Amanda Nunes. Jorge Masvidal. Dude, it goes on and on. All these dudes came from Strikeforce. They were all essentially found by Scott Coker. And now look who he has. He has all those young guys on tap as well. So, I mean, Douglas Lima is out there, and so many others. So looking at the two organizations, you have one organization that's saying, look, we're here to protect our fighters. We're here to protect their families, not just themselves. We're not just here for a buck, and we're going to pretty much postpone all events until, again, probably until June, or if not July. On the other hand, you have the UFC that said, look, we're like Ringling Brothers and Bronwyn Bailey Circus. The show must go on. We don't give a damn. We're going to make this happen. I'm hearing so many different things on both sides. I'm hearing people saying you have like the DCs and the people in the UFCs of the world saying that, look, man, we love what Dana's doing. We love it. We love that, the fighters want to fight. The fighters want to get paid. Newsflash for everybody. Yo, everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to get paid. So to sit there and actually say that at the end of the day, oh, we're doing this because the fighters want to work, the fighters want to get paid. Yo, none of us are working right now. Nobody is. Everybody's at the crib right now because of a global pandemic. Bro, Dana White just went on the mic recently and said, oh, in a year or so we're going to look back. And I said, I can't believe this shut down. Yesterday, we had 500 people die from coronavirus just in the States alone over one day. Fam, this isn't a joke. And I know all of us are tired of talking about corona. I know I'm tired about hearing about it. A lot of us are tired of being cooped up. We want sports. Fam, it's okay. There's a library. If you're a fight fan, there's a library of old fights that we can go back and watch, learn the sport, grow the sport. NBA keeps on putting things out there. We're watching old fights. We're loving them like they used to be. Baseball, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to watch that shit. But at the end of the day, I'm sure they're doing something too. So the excuse that people want to fight, of course people want to fight. But is it the best option for not only ourselves, the organization? And I think at the end of the day, it's a bad look if he's keeping pushing the narrative. Surge, WWE's doing the same thing. Fam, you can do the WWE in an empty arena. Yes, they're meant to sit there and actually speak to everybody out there. But at the end of the day, it's performance art. Just like basketball, baseball, football, anything else, athletes legitimately feed off of the crowd. So yes, we can do this and have it where no one's in the audience. Yeah, that works. But is it going to be the right thing? And also think about this. How many people can we get? They said no more than 10 people in a room. Not one, not 20, 10. No more than 10 in one space. So think about this. At minimum, 2 cornermen each. 1 judge. 1 ring official. The commission guys. And then not to mention all of the people that have to be there specifically for production. Color commentary, all those things. How is it possible that we're going to end up having that? We're not. It's not going to happen. At least I don't see it, and I think it's irresponsible. So if, in my opinion, out of the 2 organizations, who in the long run is going to look better about this? Man, I think it's going to be Bellator. I think Bellator has been proven more time and time again that they're being the adult in the room. And the fact that the UFC is going out there and trying to force this, continually saying that this isn't as serious as it is, and have an opportunity, because let's be honest. Let's say they go out there and they fight somewhere. And they did it like they did WrestleMania 2. And I talked about this last time. WrestleMania 2, the way it was done, it was a pay-per-view event. But the way they did it was essentially 3 different venues. They tied it all together. Whoever was in the truck, they ended up tying it all together. And they ended up making it and saying that it was the one big pay-per-view. That's how WrestleMania number 2 was done. They can do UFC 249 in that way. Think about this. If let's say, Tony and Justin Gaethje end up fighting somewhere in California. Who knows where? Handful of them in a room. You get the other guys fighting in Florida. That's where Rosenstruck is right now. Have them fighting in Florida, somebody else fighting in Jersey or whatever. Then they tie it all together. Maybe that can be done. I'm hearing that the UFC is trying to get a boat and have all the fights done in a boat. I'm hearing all kinds of other nonsense, man. I obviously keep you guys posted. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't think it's the right idea. But at the end of the day, man, for Bellator to go out there and do this, for Bellator to push it back, man, that's a big deal, man. That's a super big deal. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be obviously answering all the questions I have in the comments and things like that, and we'll keep the party rolling in that manner. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about, come on, man, who else? Jon Jones. Welcome back, welcome back. All right, yo, literally this just in. As I'm sitting here, my personal female GOAT, Valentina Shevchenko, the champion at flyweight, it just came in, man. She will not be defending her belt at UFC 251. That was supposed to happen June 6th in Perth, Australia. But they're saying this is according to MMA Junkie. That is on hold because of an undisclosed injury. According to a person with knowledge of the situation who's requesting anonymity since the UFC has yet to make the announcement. The fight is expected to be rescheduled, although a date to rebook has not been set. Joanne Calderwood first revealed the development Tuesday in an interview with MMA Fighting. She actually said, "We got word last week that this is gonna get pushed back, not because of the whole coronavirus pandemic, but something on her end. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but we know for sure it's going to be on June 6th. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened or what's going to be, but it has been pushed back. It will be a blessing in disguise." All right, so check it out. I guess that's a pretty big deal, man. The champ Valentina Shevchenko, I'll be honest with you, has been a very healthy champion, man. She's been one of, if not, actually she has been statistically the most active champion in all of UFC. She was going to take a quick turnaround. She just beat the brakes off of one opponent. She's coming back. She's going to beat the brakes off Joanne Calderwood. And I was looking forward to seeing it. I think a lot of people were, and I think that's one of the big fights that people were excited about once the pandemic was over. Hopefully June 6th was something that people would have paid attention to. But let's keep it a buck. This is probably, like Joanne Calderwood said, who is the number one contender, probably a blessing in disguise. No one has an opportunity to train right now. They don't. Aljamain Sterling just came out himself and actually said that at the end of the day, for him right now, his gym is closed, yo. Aljamain's gym is closed. You're talking about one of the top fighters in the world. He can't even get into a gym. So you're saying that these individuals are going to be able to get into a gym also, and who knows when they open back up. You need at minimum, 4 weeks to get a solid camp in, at minimum a solid week. So if they're not even getting that, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I don't know. They don't know. So this is happening, man. Obviously, thoughts and prayers and blessings and everything go out to Valentina Shevchenko. But I don't know if this fight was going to happen in the first place. But this is what I do want to talk about. We're talking about fights not happening and people who aren't going to be fighting at any time soon. Jon Bones Jones. Yo, this can't get right. We just going to call him what it is, man. Can't get right. He does it again. He goes out there, does it once again. DC was right way back in the day when he had that interview with Joe Rogan. He said it. He said, "Look, man, dude, you're a fuck up. You're a fuck up, and you're going to continue doing it over and over again. It's just going to happen." So we see that. And Jon, as we know, again, just to give you guys a little background if you've been under a rock, because this is the only sports news that's been around. Jon Jones ended up having a DUI once again, his second DUI, his third huge, automotive thing. But he was drunk. He ended up letting off a couple shots at a blicky, and he ended up getting arrested. The interesting part about this entire story is that we do have the same arresting officer has arrested Jon once again. People are saying that this dude might have a vendetta against Jon. I think Jon just keeps fucking up, and there's like 12 people in Albuquerque. That's probably really what it is. So if you are the most prominent star in Albuquerque and you keep doing dirt, they're going to find you. They're going to find you. They're going to see you. And again, this happened at like 4 o'clock in the morning, guys. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I'm seeing a lot of things on different ends that I want to bring up. And one thing that I'm noticing, and this is two parts in terms of I want to make sure I want to give some love to people, and I want to break some stuff down. So I'm hearing some things. You have people coming out. I hear a lot of fighters and people coming out on the defense of Jon Jones. And then on the other end, I have people saying, dude's getting dragged online. He's getting dragged everywhere online, and I'm not going to stunt. I'm halfway. I'm in between. He deserves to get dragged. And before I give you guys my thoughts and my feelings about this, I'm going to let you guys hear. I'm going to pull this up really fast. Pretty much some different tweets of some pretty prominent fighters, man, in the game and kind of things that they're talking about. Francis Ngannou on Twitter says, "It's funny to sit back and see how some people are going crazy about Jon Jones. Obviously, he needs to get his shit together. I'm not defending him, but people shouldn't throw stones like we all are perfect. I hope this guy gets back to what he needs to be, entertaining the world." Jacare Souza also says on Twitter, "Everyone is talking about what Jon Jones did. If he did it, he's already paying the price. Nobody knows the battles he fights inside. Have more empathy for people. #BeStrongChamp." And Valentina Shevchenko goes on to say, the aforementioned Valentina, "So sad the modern world is all about hype. Now, many starting to insult Jon Jones without knowing his real situation. Fighting on the same card, I can see he is kind and noble man. Him being in all the difficult times, he'll be back stronger." And the last one I want to read is between Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon says, "Jon Jones is just sick. Simple as that. He is spiritually unfit, clearly chemically dependent, severity to be determined, coupled with bad decision making equals multiple legal infractions. He just needs help." All right, so check it out. I'm going to talk about DC and what DC had in a minute. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. What all of them said, aside from Jared Gordon, is a bunch of bullshit. Plain facts, simple. Really? We're going to go out here and say, and look, I'm not about kicking a man when he's down. But to sit there and act as if it's just like, oh my God, you guys are so mean. How dare you talk about somebody when they're down? Bro, this isn't the first time. After the first time, I could understand why we can sit there and say that. I get it, yes. After the second time, okay, I get it, I understand. After the third time, after the fourth time, the fifth time, dude, this is like the 6th, 7th time. So if he's getting dragged on social media, it's 1,000% warranted. Now, what Jared Gordon said, I thoroughly agree with. And that's the reason why I haven't completely shit on Jon on any of the Fight Podcast episodes or this one right here. I'm not completely shitting on him. I'm not. And the reason I say that is this. Plain and simple. This dude needs help. And it's getting to a point in time where we all struggle with our own demons. I have my issues. Other people have. Everybody has their issues. But the fact that this man is somebody who is supposed to be in the house. He knows he's supposed to be in the house. And he's still going out there getting liquored up, shooting off rounds on his gun. And he was hanging out with homeless people. That's the thing that just came in. What was he doing? He was out because he said he wants to talk to people and he wanted to make sure homeless people felt humanized. So he went out there. That is somebody with something really wrong with them. And it's sad. It's scary because at the end of the day, we don't know what the ramifications of CTE are going to be with this. We don't know. We don't understand. So the fact that he's going out here, he said this, and the way he's doing and acting, this is somebody who's sick. He needs help. I said this last time. I said this on one of the episode 198 of the Fight Podcast. Pretty much he went out there on Ariel Helwani's show, and he said that each summer he was going to go to rehab. Ariel Helwani, leading up to his last fight, asked him, have you been going? Are you going this summer? He said, nah, I'm cool, man. I don't need to do that shit no more. This is somebody who needs help. It brings me up to somebody else that I'm thinking about. Come on, man. Another champion, somebody that a lot of us believe was a GOAT and now is going through a lot of different things, BJ Penn. That is a tale, man. That is a cautionary tale right there. Somebody who had everything. And then all of a sudden, the moment his skill set and his athleticism slipped a bit, this dude lost his fucking mind. He's out there fighting drunk dudes and getting dropped on the street. He's out there getting into accidents. He's doing the same destructive patterns. And don't get me, I don't want to hear this. He's a fighter. He's a wild man. He's this. Because at the same time, there's plenty other dudes. There's plenty other fighters. There's plenty other people that are gentlemen and ladies that are not out there going out there and showing their ass. This is somebody who needs help. The fact that the UFC, and here's the thing, people are like, we should cut him. Cut John. Cut him. Ugh, I don't think so, man. As much as I'm not a fan of Jon Jones, the person, I have said it on here time and time again. I'm not going to lie to you guys about this. But if you cut him, dude, who knows where this dude goes? Now, is he going to get stripped? I doubt it. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Is he going to have some jail time? Maybe. Maybe. It depends on what they do. This is his third moving thing or whatever. Possibly. Probably no more than 30 days. But especially with Corona, now that shit might not happen at all. So, is he going to be reprimanded by the UFC, fined? No. Conor McGregor threw a dolly through a window and ended up getting the biggest fight of his career next fight. So are they going to do that? Are they going to reprimand him? No. They hopefully that it's going to pretty much be out of sight, out of mind, and they're going to keep the party going. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen, man. I generally don't see that happen, man. But here's the thing. This brings me to one point, man, that I want to talk about. Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is, in my opinion, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He has one of the best stories that you'll ever hear. Captain of the Olympic team, All-American wrestler, had his own issues, lost his daughter. We all know it. If we're in the game, we understand. He's been through ups and downs, and now he's pretty much transitioned, not only being one of the greatest fighters of all time, he is also the best on the mic. His best commentary, I mean, dude, what he has done. Think about this, yo. Kobe Bryant, Bean, the man, handpicked him to do the MMA's version of the Detail series on ESPN+. He's incredible. And he is known, and honestly, he is tied specifically to Jon Jones. The reason I bring this up is because he was on with his show with Ariel Helwani on ESPN, and he pretty much said this, and along with a lot of other things, but he says, as much as I dislike him personally, talking about Jon, I hate him in a lot of ways, right? And I think a lot of it is wasted talent and potential to be such a massive star. But I hate seeing a young black athlete in that situation even more than my disdain for him. He pretty much goes on to pretty much say, look, man, Jon needs help. I'm not going to kick a man when he's down. I've said what I've said about him in the past. We are tied. But at the end of the day, I'm not shitting on this dude. DC is a national treasure, yo. A lot of people think he's corny. A lot of people think he's this. But he is legitimately the representation of combat sports that we need. Educated, well-spoken. He's funny. He's part of the culture. He understands what's going on, man. He's a champion, one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, family man. This dude is a head coach at Gilroy High School for nothing more than just because that's what the fuck he wants to do. He wants to give back. What an amazing character, man. He is somebody that I think that we should all all really respect and look up to in this game. And this is how we're going to go ahead and with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring it to a close, man, today. But I do want to always give you guys a couple fights. Since I was talking about DC, you need to go back and look at Daniel Cormier against Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett, this was in Strikeforce. One of the most amazing fights of Daniel Cormier you'll ever see. This is him at heavyweight early in his career. Really, really fun to watch, man. I think that's one that you should definitely check out. Another fight that I think you guys should definitely go and check out if you haven't already. I'm going to give you one for each, right? For the WEC, you need to go check out WEC 53. The entire fight card was bananas, but championship fight, Benson Henderson, Anthony Pettis won. And that's the one where we first saw the Showtime kick. But it wasn't just a Showtime kick, man. If you haven't seen this fight, it was not just a Showtime kick. That was in the 5th round, in the last minute of the 5th round of a back and forth fight. One of the best fights you'll ever see. Check that fight out for Strikeforce. You need to go ahead and check out. This happened May 2012. Gilbert Melendez, the former champion, against Josh Thompson, the other former champion, 3. This is the trilogy of that fight. Let me know in the comments who you guys think won after that fight. I think Josh Thompson won that fight. I think he should have been the champion, but they gave it to Gil. I want to know what you guys think. Pride. Yo, you need to go out there and see Sakuraba, the legend, against the legend Royce Gracie. That is Pride Grand Prix. That's a 2000 finale. And in the UFC, man, let's go back to UFC 236 on April 2019, man. It is everywhere. That's even on YouTube right now. Israel, the Last Outbender, Adesanya against Kelvin Gastelum, 2019's Fight of the Year. Those are 4 fights, like I said, on these live chats, man. I'm always going to leave you guys with some fights, especially with quarantine and combat in, man, and Corona and combat, whatever way you want to look at it. I'm always going to give you guys some stuff to watch and some stuff to check out. But with that being said, man, and without, like I said, further ado, man, thank you. This has been our the Fight Podcast Live, episode 2. I want to thank Hot Mike for having us on here as always. Make sure you check out Hot Mike. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Tell them about promo code Sergio and get you right on here. And do not forget to check out the Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available. That's Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check us out even on all social media platforms at the Fight Podcast. And check me out at Serge Vicente. Like I said, without further ado, I'm the host of the Fight Podcast, the Underground King, Serge Vicente. Deuces.